Hey guys, welcome back. This is Naresh. So in this video, we will learn something important, which are listeners in TestNG. So what are listeners? So basically what happened that whenever we are working in TestNG, TestNG works in a level like suite, test case, test classes. So we can control the behavior of TestNG by using listeners. We can create our own reports and we can do many more stuffs if we are able to know how to work with listeners in TestNG. Basically, listeners are, you can see, a program which listen for an event which happens on TestNG. It can be, my test cases are passing, my test cases are failing, so that listeners listening that. So we can go ahead and create our own listeners, and we can even modify the behavior of TestNG how it work. Okay, so let's see. So I have opened a web page, testng.org, the website of TestNG. If you go here, 5.18 is TestNG listeners. Okay, so these are all the listeners available. So basically, these are the interfaces which has been provided to us, and we can implement these interfaces if we want to modify the listeners. So let's modify the listener, which is I test listener. Okay, so for that, what I need to do, I have to go to my Eclipse, and I have to create a new class. Okay, and I am giving it as my listener as a name. All right, and click on finish. All right. Now here, what I will do, I will just write implements. Okay. And here I need to give this listeners which we have seen in the website. So I will just copy this, I test listener. Okay. And paste it here. All right. So it's giving me some error. Let's see what error it is. Okay. It says that I need to import the iTest listener from org.testng. Okay. I have done that. So again, it's giving one error. Let's see. It says I have to, add the unimplemented methods. Okay, so we need to click on that. All right. So as soon as I've done that, if you see, there are many of the methods which this listeners has given me. So I can go ahead and override this method. What these method are? First of all, it says on test start. So that's mean whenever my test start, I can override this listeners and I can do whatever I want here. So I can even, print that into some report, or I can print that into the console. So I am doing something on the console whenever my test starts. So I will type system.out.println. Okay, and I will give here test start. Okay, and I can give something else also, but right now I'm giving this system.out.println. Right, if I want, I can, print in the logs, I can create an HTML report, I can do anything from here. So simply I'm writing in the console, and when my test gets success, so I want to type something like test passed. All right, and on failure, I want to type test fail. Okay, and if you want, if you see here, we are getting uh we are getting an object as result here which is getting passed. If I want, I can just go ahead and type anything here, extract from the result. So it would be, there are many of the items which the results gives me, like it gives me the milliseconds, the class name, the test name, get test name. So there are many things which it gives me, but for now I'm keeping it simple. I'm not, doing anything here. So these are the three statements which I expect that my test case should print whenever my test is getting passed or failed. I don't have to give this again and again into my actual test cases, because these are handled through the listeners. All right. And now we have to tell TestNG that for this class, they can use this listeners. So how can we do that? So there are two ways to do that. One is through the class level and one is through the suite level. Okay, so right now we will see how to do that through the suite level, but later on we can even implement at the class level. Because I want this listeners available to all my classes, so that I have to do it at the suite level so that it will include all. So here is a tag which I need to give into the listeners. Okay, and that would be, So I need to just select this. And if you see here, it has created two tags for me, which is listeners, correct? And here I need to give another tag, which is listener. Okay. Now, if you see here, I need to give my class name. So I need to give the class name where my listeners has been implemented. So I will give here my, okay, so these are all in my packages. If you see, all the listeners which I have given is in my packages. So what I will do, first I will go here and see what package it is. So it is Selenium test. So I will give, just copy this, which is Selenium test, and I will go here, and here I will give my package name Selenium test dot, and then I will give my listener name. So it would be my listeners. Okay. So that's it. This is the only thing I need to give in my XML file. And now I just need to run this suite. And I expect that whenever my test cases are running, it should give me those messages. So I'm doing a right click and clicking on run as and TestNG suite. So it's running the program. So in my program, there are two methods, and I expect both methods to get passed. So if you see here, it has given me something, right? So we will just see those messages once my test get completed. Okay, see, it has given test start before the method start, then inside method, and then test passed, and then again test start, then inside the method z, which is in something I have printing in the method itself, and this is coming from the listeners test passed. Okay, so this is a way through which we can change the behavior. So this is very simple example I have given you, but as I told you before, it is not necessary you just print something. You can do anything here. You can print an HTML report from here. You can make some logs from here. So whatever one you want to make, you can do it by using the listeners. So this is the simplest way to use the listeners. If you want that, I don't want to give it at the suit level. I want to give it at the class level. So that is also possible. So just remove this listener tag from testng.xml, and at the class level, you have to type the annotation. Above the class, you have to give at the rate, then listeners. Okay, so this is at the class level, and then same thing. We have to give our package name, that is my listeners dot, okay, class. All right. So I can give a package name also. Let me give the package name, which is Selenium test. Okay. So this is a complete way. So what I have done, I have given here at listeners, then selenium test.mylistener.class. So this is also one of the way through which we can give the listeners at the class level. But because of that, what I have to do, I have to write this line every time whenever a new class is created. But if I have two different listeners and I have two classes and I need that there are two different listeners, I need to provide a different listener. So instead of the student level, I can give it at the class level only. All right, so this is a way also it will work. So that's it. Very simple example to test the listeners. In the next video, I will tell you something more interesting about TestNG. So stay tuned. Thank you.